the man himself, Terez Owens. T.O., how you doing this week?
I can't complain. What's going on with you guys?
Nothing much over here. Right off the bat, the big story that broke today here in New York is the Johan Santana story. He's been accused of sexual battery last year in Florida. Could you tell us what you know about that and possibly if this has any legs?
Well, you know what? The case is actually now closed. But there is, the police report was pretty much saying that basically this happened on a golf course in Florida. They were walking along, and supposedly he got a little touchy-feely. He was trying to reach up her shirt, and then next thing you know, it led to he was pulling at her skirt, and supposedly he caught a beat on her leg, if you guys know what I'm saying, catching a beat is.
Why did this take so long, Terez, to break? I mean, this happened in October, and then suddenly a random day in June, and Johan Santana's in trouble. I'm confused with the timeline.
You know what? I mean, Johan Santana's got a lot of money. He's probably got some really good people working for him, and you never know. His lawyer could have known someone. They kind of just slid it under the rug. But, I mean, it's always going to come back to haunt you. I mean, there's a police record on it, which you can go to our site or go to TMZ and actually download, and kind of explains the whole deal. So, I mean, there wasn't enough evidence to pursue the case, so they closed the case. But they did say they found, some of his beat-making supplies on her leg, and in her underwear they collected all of her stuff. And so, I mean, obviously something did happen, but you never know, man. There's a lot of covering up. And you know what? Not even to just take away from Johan Santana. Girls are crazy nowadays. We all know that. People are crazy. So you never know. I mean, anything could happen. This girl, they're not talking about this girl's past or anything like that. We don't even know who this girl is. She remains Jane Doe, so who knows?
Now, Terez, you think that anything happens with Bud Selig? You know how Roger Goodell does it in the NFL, but do you think that Bud Selig, now knowing this information, is going to do anything with Johan, or maybe the Mets organization do something with him?
I don't think so. I think it's so long ago that it went by. I think he's just going to probably look the other way, like he did with steroids for about 15 years. But I can't see anything coming about it. Who knows? If he does, I mean, it's kind of crazy. Nothing was ever happened with it, and it's just weird that it's coming up now compared to it happened last year.
We're talking to Terez Owens from the esteemed TerezOwens.com, the king of everything that you could ever imagine. Terez, now we know you're out in California, and over this past week between our talk, the Lakers end up winning the NBA title. So just give us a kind of glimpse into the world of Los Angeles right now, what the feeling is out there and what the atmosphere is with the Lakers winning.
Man, I was at Game 7. There's a brand new sports bar that just opened in Hollywood called The Parlor, which anyone who couldn't go to the game was at The Parlor. We basically, LA went nuts. It looked like we were going to not show up for this Game 7, and all of a sudden, everyone saw it. We got the call. You get the home court. That's what we play for all year. We got the calls. It worked in our advantage, and Artest and Fisher hit some big shots, man. I mean, Kobe had an awful game, and LA's going crazy. I mean, before you knew it, there was idiots rioting pretty much everywhere. It was cool, but the rioting stuff was just not a good look for us, and they need to stop that. But definitely the parade was great. I don't know if you remember me telling you about the Ron Artest. Remember a long time ago we talked, and I said he has a song coming out that if they win the championship. And I told you, I said my buddy, another friend of mine, is actually working with him on it, which is a pretty good song. I actually talked to Ron yesterday, and we're going to be shooting the video, the real video. They have that little fake one that's out right now. We actually put it on our site, but I think tomorrow, the next day, we're going to jump in the studio with Ron Artest and shoot the video for him. So it'll be coming from TerezOwens.com, which will be pretty cool.
All right. I do remember when you told me that. I was pretty excited when you told me that. So keep us updated on that. I'll keep in touch with you over the week to see that.
Terez, compared to the previous Laker championships, I had heard via ESPN, and they're not always accurate as they should be, as we know, but I had heard that the rioting and the property damage was not as bad as it was when the Lakers were winning championships in the early part of the decade. Compared to what you remember, I don't know if you were out there then, but how bad was the public displays of violence last week?
You know what? It wasn't as bad as basically, you know, you see the footage of guys turning over cars or whatever that machine it was. You know, there's always going to be a few knuckleheads. It doesn't compare to what it used to be. Like, for sure doesn't compare to what it used to be, but still, a couple knuckleheads can, you know, ruin the whole fun for everybody else. But it was, you know, it was pretty crazy. And also, I mean, you know, Mexico won that same day. And Mexico beat? Mexico beat someone that same morning. So you can imagine what it looked like. It was like pretty much we share fans with the Raiders, if you know what I'm talking about, on a lot of different sports. So it was pretty crazy.
Talking to Terez Owens from TerezOwens.com here on the Sports Wire. Max Caster, Jordan Louderback. Now, looking at your site today, I see the Reggie Bush stuff, and he's possibly in trouble with the IRS. What's the deal with that, and is that, in fact, stemming from the things that he received while at USC?
Yes. They, speaking to a CPA, basically, no one is sure if they've contacted him or not yet, but I'm sure with everything that's going on, they are. And, you know, he's probably going to have to pay about 50%, if not more, of that $300,000 that was gifted to him, or however they did it, because they said they're going to probably go after him for taxes on that. And with all the penalties, you know, it could go up to 60%. So I don't know, man. The Reggie Bush stuff, he was kind of hoping for this to slide by, but I know he's got some money, but that's, you know, a couple $100,000 still got to hurt.
All right, Terez, now what we do here every day on the Sports Wires, we have a sports tweet of the day, and Monday it was Ty Lawson when he tweeted about the Kardashians and wanting to, you know, be with them and win a title. You know, it worked for Lamar, it worked for Reggie, and then he ends up deleting it. What was the story behind him deleting it?
Well, our sources say that he has a girlfriend that's got him in a pretty good hold, if you know what I mean. And to me, it just showed no backbone. I loved the tweet. I thought it was great. I thought it was right on cue. And you know what? Sometimes, I guess some people have your sack, if you know what I mean, and you can't own up to what you said. But that was pretty pathetic. I'm a fan of Ty Lawson, but that was pretty pathetic to go on and say, "Oh, my phone got stolen that night. It must have." But we heard it was a girlfriend that didn't like the tweet. That family members of the girlfriend and everything like that were just like, "What?" And basically, he took it back.
Last one, on your site, you had the coolest video I've seen in a while. Anderson Silva, who I'm not an MMA fan, but I'm a Silva fan because I know he's a boss. And then Steven Seagal, who I'm a big fan of his movies, training together for MMA. I think, from what I've gathered, you're a big MMA boxing guy. So how cool is this to see Silva training with Steven Seagal?
Pretty cool, man. I mean, if you watch this, Seagal didn't look like, you know, he looked like he kind of still had a little bit in him, man. It was kind of cool to see. I hope they start putting some contenders in the ring with Silva, because all these people that are coming up with them is just, I mean, they got to give them the fights that they want. You know, we got to put Silva and GSP or Silva and someone in there. It's just the fights that they got going on right now. I'm excited to see the Lesnar-Carwin fight. That's going to be a great one, but They got to match Silva up with some opponents, because as his last couple fights, he's getting sick of fighting these no names.
Favorite Steven Seagal movie, real quick?
Whew. I'm not a big Steven Seagal fan. My mom loves him, so I'm trying to think of a Steven Seagal movie that my mind is blank on a Steven Seagal movie. I can't even front.
Well, Terez, for the record, my favorite Seagal movie is Under Siege 2: Dark Territory. But that'll do it for this week with you. Thanks for coming on, and we'll talk to you next week.
No problem. Just going to plug something, if you guys don't mind, man. My iPhone app came out, so you guys can go to your iPhone and search TerezOwens.com, and our iPhone will be up there at $1.99, and we're going to be putting some content on there that will only be for our iPhone and our app users. So definitely, if you're out there, man, it would be a good little $1.99 investment.
Nice.
We got a boss on our hands here. He got his own iPhone app. I wish I had my own iPhone app. But Terez, great job as always, and keep doing work.